Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. About our EMAS Teacher Training Academy, EMAS is an internationally recognized teacher training academy dedicated to empowering educators with modern skills, innovative methodologies, and leadership qualities. We offer diploma and PG diploma programs in the areas like Montessori, early childhood education, special education, educational leadership, and more. EMAS also provides certified short-term courses and life skill programs for teachers, students, and parents designed to meet global education standards. About our EMAS Educators Club IEC. The EMAS Innovative Educators Club is an collaborative platform created to connect passionate educators, trainers, and leaders from across the globe. IEC organize weekly knowledge sharing sessions, webinars, and workshops that focuses on classroom innovation, leadership, and holistic development. Benefits of our IEC membership: access to exclusive training sessions and webinars, networking with like-minded educators worldwide, opportunities for professional growth and recognition, a platform to share ideas, innovations, and best practices, continuous learning aligned with 21st century education. Our heartily welcome Our heartily welcome to our speaker, Mr. Dr. Muhammad Abdul Bari. I'm facing an issue of sharing the screen. About our today's guest who will be speaking, Dr. Muhammad Wasim Bari. I welcome Muhammad Wasim Bari to start this webinar.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the name of Almighty, most gracious, most merciful, a hearty welcome to all the participants who are presented in this great gathering. I take this privilege to be a part of this webinar being organized by EMAS Teachers Training Academy, Hyderabad. My gratitude to the founder of this organization, Ms. Saida Afshan Afrin, the founder of the EMAS Teachers Training Academy, the hallmark of excellence, for having invited me for this session. Well, dear audience, I would like to put right in this evening's topic, communication, the vibrant media for successful transformation in human life. Madam, you can start screen sharing.
Yes, sir. I'll be sharing your PPT.
Yeah. Yeah, next one. Yeah, next one. This is today's topic: communication, the vibrant media for successful transformation in human life. So before going to the session, I would like to give a brief achievements what has been rendered on me. I have been rendered with some of the awards. To name a few: Most Active Educationist Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, Best Faculty Award, Top 100 International Distinguished Educator Award, Kalam's International Golden Award, Star of the Year Award, SAIPA Life Empowerment Award, Best Educationist cum Academician Award, CALP Young Academician Award, AMP Education Excellence Award, Outstanding Educator of the Year Award, Best Educator Award, Best Compeer Award, Nature and Humanity Award, Outstanding Researcher Award, Islamic Law Research Council Academic Education Excellence Award, Pride of India Award, Best Achiever Award, Active Humanitarian Personality Award, Tamil Nadu State Urdu Academy Award in Urdu Literary, AMP Change Maker Award in Social Excellence, Award of Excellence and Achievements in Education, Revolutionary Star of Excellence Award, and recently I have been conferred with Excellence Education Award. So this is some of the brief introduction about me and the awards which has been conferred. Now I would like to come on the main topic. So our evening today's main topic is the concept of education. So in this session, we shall try to focus on the following subtopics. To begin with, factors of communication, spoken communication, 7 C's of communication, medium of communication, effective communication, types of communication, important key points to be taken before communication, advantages or benefits of communication, non-verbal communication, successful communication, how to improve the communication process in our life, audience-centered approach while going for communication, how stress affects in communication, and finally, the barriers which come across in the communication process. So let's go to the first concept, uh, factors of communication. So we are all blessed that of all the creatures in this universe, God has given human being the best creature. So one of the main differences between the other creatures and the human being is the communication. In human beings, we follow communication through a systematic way of approach. We follow communication through some language. We follow communication through some grammars. We follow communication in which it can be understandable to the other end. So this is the main difference when we talk of the communication process. So here in the factors of communication, we can see we have a sender and on the other hand, we have a receiver. If we take this webinar series, so I become a sender here in sharing some sort of information to the other end, that is to the participants, to the audience, to the organizers, and to the other people. So here we have two type of people. One is sender and the other is receiver. So in communication, it should be taken into most consideration that among the sender and receiver, the receiver is more important. The sender should convey in such a way that the receiver should be easily understanding what the communication is being narrated, what the communication is being transferred, what the communication is being inherited, what the communication is being sent to the receiver. So here, among the sender and the receiver, it is most important that the receiver should be taken more care, and the receiver is more important when comparing to the sender. So the sender in the communication process, he or she is called as the encode or the encoder. And what the medium that sender takes, that is supposed to be called as the transmission or the transformation. So in this communication series, I am conveying you in such a way that you can be easily understandable in one language. That language is English language. So this is to be highlighted here. So in which language the receiver can easily understand, that language the sender should be able to accept it. In that language, the sender should be able to accomplish it. In that language, the sender to be able to prepare it. So this is the most important factor to be considered in terms of delivering the information from one end to the other end. So this is called the transmission process or the transformation process. Then the receiver who gets the communication, the receiver who accepts the communication, the receiver who is supposed to be given the process of communication, they are supposed to be called as the decode or the delivery of information. So sender is one at one end, receiver is at the other end. Among the sender and receiver, the receiver is to be more important, and the sender should go with a transmission path. The sender should go with a transmission media. The sender should go with a transmission mode. So that is called transformation. And the receiver who accepts, he is supposed to be or she is supposed to be called as the decoder, which is delivery of information. And it is not a one-way process, it is a multi-way process. It is a two-way process. We can proudly call it multi-way. So the receiver on the other end, he or she can also become the sender. So this is the beauty of the human beings, that the sender is giving in such a way that the receiver is easily understandable. While on the other hand, when the receiver understands, he or she can again convey the reply, he or she can again give the response, he or she can again give the feedback in such a way that now the receiver becomes the sender and the sender becomes the receiver. So this is the main factor of communication process in human beings. We cannot see in other creatures. We cannot see this in some animals. We cannot see this in some plants. We cannot see this in some other different types of creatures or other living beings. But this is, we can see the speciality in the human beings, that the factor depends on both ends. Sender can also become receiver, and also the receiver can also, in vice versa, can become the sender. So now, when the receiver becomes the sender, he should take care of this sender, that now the sender is going to become the receiver. He or she should come in such a way that that receiver should be easily understandable, should be easily accepting, should be easily taking into consideration what the other is going to convey or what the other is going to deliver. So this is the factor. This factor is supposed to be called as a multi-way process or a two-way communication process. So this is the basic subtitle what I have taken here, the factors of communication. Now coming to the second important subtopic, that is the spoken communication. So what is the spoken communication? So in spoken communication, we can say mostly it is a face-to-face communication. So now this webinar is going to be presented in such a way that mostly we are having the facial expression. So this is a face-to-face communication. Apart from face-to-face, there are also different types of communication process that we will see later on in the upcoming slides. So here we see in the face-to-face communication, it becomes very easy to understand. It becomes very easy to grasp. It becomes very easy to reflect. It becomes very easy to deliver. It becomes very easy to take into consideration what. Am I audible? Am I audible? Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay, I will continue. So in the face-to-face communication, the process of communication becomes very easy. The process of communication becomes very fast. The process of communication becomes very powerful. So here we have to take into consideration, clearly passes the information without obstacle. So as I already said, as I already recorded, that in the sender and receiver, receiver is more important, sender is not important. So the sender should always have this concentration. The sender should always have this in the mindset, that the information or the delivery what is going to be given, it should be in a very effective way without any obstacles. So what is the meaning of obstacle here? Without any jargon, without any difficulty, without any collapse in the grammatical presentation, like so on. I give a small example here. If there is a sentence, the chief minister called on the meeting. So in a very emotional way or in a very excited way, if one read in this way, the chief minister called off the meeting. So what does the meaning lies here? The entire meaning lies into opposite. The entire meaning lies into vice versa. The entire meaning lies into contrary. That is, the chief minister may have cancelled the a meeting. The chief minister may have postponed the meeting. So that word on, if I pronounce it in off, the entire meaning becomes collapse. So this is the sender should take very careful in passing the information from the sender to the receiver. I would like to put another important aspect here. I have used the word here information. So we have two aspects. One is idea, one is information. So when we compare idea and information plays a very prominent role. Information plays a very effective role. Information plays a very enhanced role. Information plays a very important role. So clearly passes the idea. If I say maybe, may not be, it will have a two-way thinking. But this word used here is clearly passes the information. So information always yields truth value. Information always yields exact value. Information always gives some meaningful value. So here the sender should have into consideration in his mindset or in her mindset that what I'm going to deliver, what I'm going to convey, what I'm going to present, what I'm going to share, what I'm going to give, what I'm going to command, what I'm going to request, it should be without obstacle. So this should be taken very care from the sender's aspect. Third important key point in the spoken communication is ease of understanding and clarity. So it is not that we should use literary, very dictionary words. Even simple words can be used in framing the sentences. Simple words can be used in making the paragraphs. Simple words can be used in making the receiver to be understand in a very convenient way. So that is the purpose here. The objective should be clearly fulfilled. So it is also possible that we can use the hi-fi dictionary words. There is no doubt in that, but we should have the mind that whether the receiver can be able to grasp it, whether the receiver can be able to achieve it, whether the receiver can be able to absorb it, whether the receiver can be able to attain it. So this should be having in the mindset of the sender. So this is what the clearly passing the information without obstacles and also the ease of understanding and clarity. Then the fourth important key point in the spoken communication is the clarification made through queries. So at the end of completing the sentence, at the end of completing a point of a story, at the end of completing some message, so there is the sender can proudly ask some query. Did you understand this? Hope you have hope you are taking into this knowledge into your brain. Hope it is very informative to you. So the sender should raise some few questions so that the process of communication can become alive. It should not become idle or it should not become something vague. So this is clarification can be made through queries. And the next important key point in the spoken communication, it is the effective in delivering the message through group interaction. So as I already said, the communication is not a single way process, rather it is a multi-way process. So here we can have the effectiveness in framing the groups. So we can have one team, we can have two teams, we can have three teams, we can be able to have different types of group formats so that the communication can become very vital, the communication can become very prosperous, the communication can become very effective. So this is the one of the important key aspects of the topic spoken communication. Next important key factor is it is reliable source of medium for delivering the information. So what is the medium here? The medium here says it is supposed to be using the different types of paths. The medium here clearly says using the different types of modes. So it should be reliable. It should be convenient from the sender side also, and it should be convenient to the receiver side also. So here we are using a medium through an online platform. This session has been arranged through the online session platform via Zoom. So this is one of the medium what has been taken into consideration from the organizers in. So the receiver, the participants should also have this facility, and at one point both sender and receiver can be able to integrate, both sender and receiver can be able to collaborate, and this session is being into alive. So this is called reliable source of medium for delivering the information. The next important key point is the jargons are to be eliminated. So what is jargon here? So there should be not more pause. Yeah, of course, there should be pause, but that pause should not be too lengthy. So after completing a paragraph, after completing a sentence, after completing a kind of a news, after delivering a kind of message, we can have a small pause, but we should not have the jargons which can make irritation to the other end. We can make uneasy to the other end. We can make something ineffective to the other end. So this should be taken into care from the center's aspect that jargons at the maximum level, it should be eliminated. Jargons at the highest level, it should be discarded. Jargons at the possible level, it should be omitted, for which the communication flow can be in the continuous process. So most of the speakers, most of the presenters, we can see they might be having more full-fledged subject knowledge. They might be having full-fledged information. They might be having full-fledged of a mindset to convey, to deliver, to share, to express. But the difficulty lies that they have something lack in the continuation of the sentences. They have something lack in the formation of the grammatical formation of the sentences. So what happens here? The jargon makes the value of the session. The jargons makes the presenters the vibration little bit slow or little bit apart from the session. So that should not be created from the center's aspect. So it should be taken into more care that jargons at any cost to the maximum level, it should be eliminated where the flow of communication may be fruitful, where the flow of communication may be very vital, where the flow of communication will be very effective in that particular gathering, like so on. And finally, feedback can be entertained from the other end. So what is feedback here? So feedback, it is not that it is something like queries. So feedback in the sense making the audience alive. Feedback in the sense what the clarifications is raised by the audience, which should be entertained. So at the end of the session, I would also like to have some of the feedback from your end. So this will create a healthy session. This will create a healthy gathering. This will create a gathering for future development. So these are some of the key points for spoken communication, mostly in the face-to-face communication. So in addition to the face-to-face communication, we also have written communication. We also have different types of letters, types of communication that we will see in the later upcoming slides. So I hope the second subtopic, spoken communication, would have been understood by every one of you. If you understand, you can just give a alphabetical letter U. If you understand, you can give alphabetical letter U. Understood. It shows that it is understood. Okay. Now, next we are going to have the very important aspect of communication, that is the 7 C's of communication. Of course, there are plenty of C's, but I have chosen a crisp of a nutshell of 7 C's of communication. The first and foremost is the clarity. The second is correctness, that is the grammar. The third one is conciseness, apt. The fourth one is courtesy, that is greetings, wishes. The fifth one is concreteness, this full body of the communication process or the text. And the sixth one is consideration, as if we are in front of the reader or the receiver. And the seventh one is completeness, expectation of response. We will see in detail one by one. So the first and foremost is C. In the process of communication, it is supposed to be clarity. So what does clarity mention here? What does clarity define here? What does clarity highlight here? So clarity is we should be having the objective what I'm going to talk in this particular gathering. So we might have different occasions. We might have different people. We might have different types of atmosphere. So when we are in the office, we cannot have informal type of communication from the other co-colleagues. We cannot have other different types of communication at that particular point of time or in that particular atmosphere. So there lies the official communication, there lies the responsible communication, there lies the assignment communication, that is what is rendered to us or what we are going to render to others. So that is the objective lies in a gathering of an official office or a business gathering. Suppose if we are in a shopping, so there lies no any kind of official taking permission like so on. So if you are in the business or if you are in a shopping, there we can have what the purpose of our communication with that in that shopping atmosphere, in that shopping environment. So this is clarity. So here I am here to talk on the topic of communication. So I cannot here speak other than communication irrelevant to the topic. So this is the clarity. We have different types of atmospheres. We have different types of situations. We have different types of environments in 24 hours life cycle. Morning, we are in one type of communication. Afternoon, we might be in the other type of communication. Evening, we might be in the other type of communication process. In the night hours, we can be in other type of communication process. So the communication clarity should be there in the sender, what I am going to be, in which type of environment, in which type of gathering, in which type of group, or in which type of situation, and what I should convey, what is the purpose I should go there. So this clarity should be there in the communication. So this is called in crisp, this clarity C. The second type of communication is it is correctness, it is grammar. So as I've already said, most of the people have full-fledged of knowledge, have full-fledged of information, have full-fledged of the eagerness to share, to take, or to develop, or to grow, but most of the time they lack in the grammar. So we should be very much transparent in the grammar. So we should have that formula 4 into 3, three tenses multiplied by 4 different types of situations, present tense, then past tense, then future tense, then present tense, simple present tense, then present continuous tense, then present perfect tense, then present perfect continuous tense. Similarly, simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, past perfect continuous tense, and finally simple future tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, simple future perfect continuous tense. So this standard formula is there in any language. It is not only in English language. You take any language, you take any language of the world, all the languages has its grammar. So we should be very much concentrating on the grammar of any language, whichever language we want to pursue, whichever language we want to grow, whichever language we want to admire. So we should be giving some sort of the concentration. We should be giving some sort of our hard work. We should be giving our sort of some sort of the spirit in going to learning the grammar of that language. So today, I'm sorry to say, most of our students, they are lacking in the grammar. What has happened yesterday, they think it is in the present scenario. And what is going to happen in the future, they think that it is in the past scenario. So this misintegration from the past tense to the present tense or the future tense to the past tense, so this will make the other end, this will make the receiver, this will make the other team that some situations has happened, but in reality it is going to happen. So this controversy or this contradiction should not exist. So this is the second important C, going for the full-fledged grammar of any language. So the second C is here in CRISP, it is defined as correctness. The third important C is it is conciseness, that is apt. What I want to give, what I want to convey, what I want to share, what I want to request, what I want to fulfill, that should be there already in my mindset, and I should be able to produce on the table of the other people, on the table of the other end, on the table of the superior, on the table of the employee. So this is called conciseness. So in general, it may be called as app. So here I use a small example in today's scenario due to the widespread of the social media. So if I say this is for you, any participant can unmute themselves and can you say how will you write? This is for you. Any participant can unmute themselves and say the letters. Anyone? This is for you. How will you write?
The participants cannot unmute themselves.
Okay, can you give any one or two participants? I need the answer, reply from, or else they can chat. This is for you. How will you write? Anyone can give the answer? No, I need this. Someone has given this belongs to you. I need the letters, the alphabetical letters. Someone has given exactly THIS this. Then they have forgotten to give IS is. So I have said this is for you. It's very easy. So the exact answer is THIS days space IS is space FOR for space YOU. Hearty congratulations to Miss Najiba. So you have given the correct sentence. This is for you. But I am sorry to say we don't have the rights to kill the beauty of the language. See, this is what Miss Najiba has text. THIS space IS is space FOR for space YOU. But we can see due to the widespread usage of the social media, most of the people they write, they send the messages, they share the information in such a way that we should understand the new phenomena of the language. So instead of THIS, they give in such a way that capital D small s. So the receiver should understand, oh, this might be the short term or the shortcut key for THIS. And instead of IS is, they will text in such a way only small s. So the receivers who should take into consideration, oh, this might be the shortcut key for ISEs. And instead of FOR for, a suddenly numeric letter comes, numeric letter 4. So the receiver should understand, so this is the meaning for the term FOUR 4, the numeric letter 4. And rather than YOUU, so the people send or write only a capital U. So this is not the beauty of a language. Please try to understand how far difficulty our elders, our great scholars have taken the efforts to build the growth of a language. Today we are easily just inheriting the flavors of the language. So long time before, any language would have come into existence into this world. Many great scholars would have given more efforts. Many great scholars would have given the literary formation of that language. Many poets would have given the fragrance to that language. But how it is possible that we today, due to the enormous usage of the social media, we can cut short it, we can reframe it, we can redesign it, and make into the collapse of the formation of the sentences. This is one small example what I am recording here. Like that, plenty of examples can be taken. So this is the exact broad description of conciseness. So apt, we should be always be apt in generating. We should be always be apt in delivering. We should be always be apt in sharing. We should be always be apt in making the fulfillment of the purpose of what the process of communication. I am here with this type of group, with this type of people, with this type of mm, team. So a child may have a request from the parent. This is one type of communication. The parents may have one type of need from the child. This is one type of communication. So here that aptness should be there. So please try to adhere to the conciseness wherever you are in your different types of atmospheres. The fourth important key factor is in the C's of communication, it is courtesy. Always have this courtesy. See, other creatures don't have this courtesy. We cannot see a courtesy in animals. We cannot see the courtesy in plants. We cannot see the courtesy in different types of creatures of God. But we can see the courtesy comes emotionally in the conversation, in the communication process of human beings. So I have taken few examples here. So whenever you start the communication, go with the greetings, go with the wishes, go with this some sort of a good day, a good morning, good evening, like so on. Rather than directly jumping into the body of the text, we should have this courtesy that makes the receiver feel something close to us. See, before the start of this session, I have not directly come to the my topic. So I have given a courtesy to the organizer. I have given a courtesy to this organization. Then I have given a courtesy to the participants. And finally, I have touched the main topic. So this type of courtesy should be there, whatever process we are going to have in our lifetime. So we might be having a rapport with unknown persons. We might be having a rapport with the with the ministerial candidates. We might be having a rapport with our close blood relatives. So whoever they are, we should have a courtesy. So please try to follow the courtesy. The courtesy makes emotionally connected. The courtesy makes even the other end, even the other people are not willing. They might have a feeling that, oh, we have been given respect, we have been given a kind of welcome, we have been given a kind of encouragement. So that mindset may change from the negative aspect to the positive aspect. So this is courtesy. This is one of the important C's in the process of communication. The next factor is the concreteness. It is full body of the communication, what we want to have in that particular situation, or with that particular group, or with that particular individual, or with that particular person, like so on. So we should clearly say what is my requirement, what is my request, or if I am an employer, I want to give some command to the employees. So there also the top to down communication process should be very clear, that what I want to command to my subordinates, what I want to command to my employees, what I want to command to my fellow beings. So that should be fully explained. That should be fully drafted. That should be fully circulated. That should be fully explained, so that the communication can become success. The ultimate purpose is why we communicate: to have something, some business, some process, some sort of request should be fulfilled, should be into execution, or should be flavored for others fulfillment. So this is the ultimate objective of any type of communication in our worldly life. So we can see the full body of the text should be always there. Without the full body of the text or incompleteness, there lies some confusion. There lies some sort of other type of own thinking from the receiver's end. Oh, this should be there. This has not highlighted. So let us go ahead. Let us proceed ahead. Let us omit it. Let us discard it. Let us eradicate it. So other end, they might have their own choice of thinking, and at the end of the day, what will happen? We can see something may be fruitful, something may not be fruitful. Something may be into positive, something may not be into positive, something may be into growth, something may not be into growth. So why this happens means full body of the requirement, full body of the command, full body of the text, full body of the conveying the message is not shared, is not explained, is not given, is not followed from the center's aspect. In thereby, what happens? The receivers take into their own thinking. So please try to have the concreteness, whatever business, whatever interaction you have in your day-to-day life. The sixth important factor is the consideration, as if we are in front of the reader. See, I have here around 15 participants in this gathering. So the participants are not visible. But what is there in my mindset? What is there in my eyes? What is there in my spirit? All the participants are seeing me. All the participants are having their concentration to me, so that my full-fledged outlook expression, my full-fledged the expression, my full-fledged the presentation is becoming more effective. So this should be there in every person whom they are connected with different types of people. So sometimes we can see when we stand in front of an employer, we don't see our superior. We find something guilty, and we bow our eyes like so on. So this may create a kind of irritation to the our superiors. So please, if we are lacking in these kinds of postures, these types of actions, these types of gestures, please try to reframe yourself, so that consideration, that is the live consideration of the person, should be there. I would even give a more a step ahead example. Even when we write letters, that letter should be like that. When we draft an email, when we draft any kind of official letters or informal letters, so we are not being seen from to our relative or to our well-wisher. But when the well-wisher, when the relative read that letter, they should have that emotion that I am in front of them. I'm in front of their table. I'm in front of their chair. So this is as if in front of the reader. So this kind of information, this kind of the fruitful words, this kind of the essence that should be there in the communication. It may be a oral communication, or it may be a written communication also. And finally, the seventh important C in terms of the communication process, it is the completeness. So expectation of response. So you should tell that this communication is winding here. This communication is supposed to be giving a conclusion here. The further process of this communication can be in the next meet, can be in the next day, can be in the next circular, can be the next interval. So this should be conveyed properly so that that eagerness should be there from the other end. So my dear beloved participants, when you go for communication process in your day-to-day activities, particularly apply these 7 C's: clarity, correctness, conciseness, courtesy, concreteness, consideration, and completeness, where I am sure you will be in the limelight of the receivers. You will be in the limelight of other people. You will be in the limelight of other gathering. You will be in the limelight of other groups. So I am personally implementing all these things. So I have experienced all these things in my day-to-day activities. So if you understand these 7 C's, you can give a chat a C, so that I can be happy that you understood these 7 C's. If you understood, if you are clear, you can type a capital C. You can type a capital C. Yeah, again, Ms. Najiba has taken the lead. Okay. Thank you. So I'm happy that you are in the flow and you can be able to understand. Okay. Now I would like to proceed for the next subtopic, that is the medium of communication. So our main topic here is what are the different types of medium that can be applied in the communication process. So in the first and foremost slides, I have given the importance on the face-to-face communication. It is not possible all the time. So in the developed world, in the dignified world, in the civilized world, we can see apart from the face-to-face, we have different types of communication that we are knowingly or unknowingly, directly or indirectly, interestingly or uninterestingly, we are supposed to be communicating. So the one of the examples is this online Zoom meet. So many participants from different regions of the world. So I am from Tamil Nadu. This organizing team is from Hyderabad. Many organizers from different parts of the world are associated here. So here we are connected with the medium, what is applicable to us, what is available to us, what is feasible to us, and we can be able to share, we can be able to grow with the purpose of this meeting. So yes, Aranamu Sultana from Karnataka, warm welcome. So we can see what are the medium of communication. So the first and foremost, it is the voice, that is speak, oral. Understand? So basically, as a human being, we come across with the voice communication. This we are associated in our day-to-day life. Okay. Apart from that, we have a conversation, we have a communication that is through telephone. So this we should be very careful. Telephone conversation, it may be sometimes official, it may be sometimes business, it may be sometimes informal, it may be sometimes casual, it might be sometimes interviews. Understand? So even telephonic conversation has its own etiquettes. When you go on a telephonic conversation, you should be well prepared. What is the objective of this particular telephone? For what purpose I am making this telephone? For what purpose I am being received this telephonic call? So all these things, if you have a proper consideration, ultimately your time is saved here. Today, most of us, I'm sorry to record, lapse their life due to the unwanted communication process through telephone. They don't the objective, they are not aware what should be spoken, what should not to be spoken, what is the purpose and what is the essence and how it should be concluded. So all these things is very important. It's not that we have the latest gadgets, we have the latest more facilities we can use as it is. No, everything counts here. So most important is our time is more important here. So please try to make your communication very effective even when you are in the telephonic process. So today we are in the digital connected world. So in telephone we have normal phone, we have social media, telephonic calls. So please try to adhere to the the etiquettes of the conversation, the etiquettes of the process of communication, so that you can be in the good books of the other end. So this is what the telephonic medium of communication. The third important factor, it is the documents. So documents mostly we consider it is a formal. No, formal, of course, there is, it is official, it is business oriented, it is everything type everything, but we should be having the flow. Understand? So here, in terms of document, we can take as email, we can take as letters, we can take as text messages. Just now in the previous topic, I have taken the example. This is for you. So all these things, even when we are giving a small type of a document, when we are using a small type of text message, when we are using a small type of a letter, or we are going for an email, so we should have a from address, we should have the to address, we should have the whom we are, we should give a small introduction, and we should be able to highlight what is this purpose of this email, and we should be able to conclude it. So all these things should be adhered even in maintaining email type of letters also, or other different types of letters also, like official documents or business documents, or sometimes even complaint letters. So all these things should be strictly followed, so that this message, this communication in future, when it's taken into record, so we might understand properly, so what this communication on this particular date in this particular area has been mentioned. So even if we take in future, it should be understandable to any person, it should be understandable to any group, it should be understandable to any team, it should be understandable to any authority. So this is one of the main mediums of communication, the documentation. The next important is we are today in the digital world. So we can see images and diagrams. Mostly, I can easily correlate with the example when we go on the road on the traffic. So we have a kind of a signal that says it is dangerous. We have another type of signal that says be ready. We have another type of a signal. It says you can safely cross. Understand? So images speaks a lot in our day-to-day life. So it comes in the psychological aspect also, the five senses, visualization, then auditory, and then kinesthetic, all those things. Here, images plays the visualization through diagrams or through images or through some colors. We can be able to find out what the purpose of communication is being conveyed or is being delivered. So mostly we refer. Red means it is something harm. Green means it is something a kind of satisfaction. So these kinds of images also plays a very gives a very meaningful information in our day-to-day life. The next important factor is video, that is sounds and graphics. So when we use this kind of video type of conversation, so our voice should be very clear, our intonation should be very perfect, and our the tone should be very understandable. So all these things we can take into effect for the video, or else you can go for graphics also when you want to display some diagrammatic presentation, when you want to display some graphical presentation. So you can be able to correlate with the sound effect, with the audio effect, with the visual effect, all those things. And finally, the visual, that is the mostly in our day-to-day life, we come across with the PowerPoint presentation, the PowerPoint slides. There also you should have the clear clarity. So it should not be too much dark. It should not be too much vague. It should not be too much something unpleasant. So you should have, even when preparing a PowerPoint, you should have the background to the maximum extent. It should be a light color, and you can go for a contrast color for these headings, and you can go for another color for the subtopics, for the diagrams, for the images. So all these things are communication. It's not only face to face. It's not only our oral. Everything counts here, and with the medium of communication today, as of now, October 16, we have these types of communication. After some 10 years, another different types of communication may come into existence with the artificial intelligence, with the robotics. We can have some new type of communication process. So today, what we are using is we should be try to understand clearly. We should be able to adapt. We should be able to follow all these types of instructions, all these types of the regulations, so that the other end, the receiver, can be able to take properly the essence of the communication process. So next important factor I'm going to put light is, it is the effective communication. So far we have seen what is communication, what is the 7 C's of communication, and what are the factors of communication, then followed by medium of communication. Now I am going to put light on one of the important topics, that is effective communication. There is a difference between communication and an effective communication. If I say you are a normal boy, you are a good boy, you are a normal student, you are a good student, you are a normal person, you are a good person, there lies something difference between these two sentences. There lies difference between these two, the what we give the remarks. So please try to have the proper the effective communication in your lifestyle, wherever you are, whichever atmosphere you belong to. So here the first and foremost is, it is supposed to be the proper attention to the audience. So this is very important. You should not make the gathering, you should not make the seminar hall, you should not make the that particular room where you are communicating, that should be void, that should be something unpleasant, that should be something out of the box. Please always have very care in your mindset that you are communicating with the people. It should always be having the proper attention. So what is proper attention? If there are 100 people you are communicating, your eye should go for all the 100 people. If you're communicating with only two people, your eye should go for the two people also. See how this is possible? This is possible. The only thing is the flow how you present, the flow how you attract, the flow how you convince, the flow how you respect, the flow how you are able to tackle all these things comes into consideration. So here in the effective communication, the first and foremost key factor, it is supposed to be the proper attention to the audience. Of course, there comes our external appearance also, there comes the gestures, there comes the actions, there comes the our non-verbal actions also. All these things plays a very vital role. The second important factor in terms of the effective communication, ma'am, you can just change the next slide. Effective communication. Yeah, the second important key factor, it is supposed to be the objective should be very clear. See, I'm giving more importance on the objective, because any communication, wherever we are in any type of environment, our objective should be there. What is the objective of my contracting to that particular people, or connecting to that particular group, or having the engagement with that particular community? So that objective, if it is very transparent, that objective, if it is very clear, our next process, our next ladder, our next growth will be prosperous. If the objective is itself is having some sort of a confusion, if the objective itself is having some sort of a misinterpretation, so how there is possible that the next ladder of the growth may be fruitful? It may be harm, it may be wrong, it may be false, it may be unfailure. Sorry, it may be failure, it may not be it may not be successful, it may be unsuccessful. So please always have in your mindset what the objective you are going to be, even with one person of the other end, or to a group of persons from the other end. What is the objective? If the objective is transparent, if the objective is clear, if the objective is vital, then there is no doubt your next processing, your next prospective growth will be there in the longer run, which will go smoothly, and which will have a very fruitful end results. The third important factor in terms of effective communication, it is time maintenance. Always have this. Time maintenance is more very crucial. You cannot take your own way. So people will be there who might not be having much of the patience to accept. People will be there who might not be able to sit for a longer time. People will not be there in a situation to listen. So time maintenance, if it is adhered properly, you will be in the high regards of the other people. So this session is for 1.5 hours. So if I take this session for 3 hours, so next time I may not be in the good books of the participants. So time maintenance within the given time, what the purpose, what the objective, what the fulfillment should be done in a very concise way, in a very clear way, in a very prospective way. The beauty of the sender, the beauty of the convener lies that it should be delivered, it should be transformed, it should be delivered, it should be given. So this is the vital role where we have to apply in our day-to-day life, time maintenance. As I already told, the fourth important factor is the media and platform. Of course, media, we have seen plenty of tools. So whatever we are engaged with, we have to be feasible with that. We have to be having the knowledge on that, and we should be able to execute in a proper way. That is the media and platform. And next important key factor in effective communication, it is line of authority. So what is line of authority? It has various meanings. Our tone has a meaning. Our voice reflects a meaning. Our expression reflects one meaning. Our emotions reflects a meaning. Our intonation reflects a meaning. So all it comes in our what we call the non-verbal parts of our body. So only our presentation is 50%. More than other 50% lies how our actions, how our the eye contact, how our way of the modulation. So it all plays a vital role in terms of our communication process. Don't think it is only for official purpose. Even when you are in a casual interaction, there also lies all these things more important. The next thing is span of control. So what is span of control? There should be a query. There should be a kind of a humor when completing one aspect and going for the next aspect. So when I complete a slide, I ask a small question. If you have understood, please give it a keyword like this. So this is span of control. So we should give the room for the other end also. We should give the space for the other end also. They can also be able to feel that, oh, they are valued. Oh, they are supposed to be giving high regards. So this is span of control. And next one is interest, zeal, and confidence. Any activity, what we do in our lifetime, whether it is personal, whether it is official, whether it is business, whether it is assigned, whether it is or something forceful, even if it is forceful, I request please take it with interest and zeal. See, I have received this request from the this organization yesterday. I wholeheartedly accepted it. Understand? And today I am here to present. I have taken as it is. It is a kind of a promotion for me. It is a kind of development for me in my own next presentation. So everything, if we take zeal and confidence, ultimately we are the winners. Ultimately, we are the success among others. We are the leads among others. So if this kind of passion, if this kind of interest comes in you, ultimately you will be the twinkling stars. You will be the nightingales wherever you are in your lifetime. Next one, most important, is the trust and feel of goodwill. So what is trust? So trust lies there. This trust, even it is there even in other creatures also, but in human beings, it should be something extra. I always give importance to the term extra. So when something extra comes to us, we find happy. We find something ourselves, we are getting bonanza. So in that aspect, please try to have the trust on yourself and also with the people with whom you are meeting, with the people with whom you are conversing, with the people with whom you are supposed to be having the business, with the people with whom you are supposed to be having the different type of relationship. All these things gives a feel of goodwill. There should not be feel of bad will or worst will. See, I have used the term here goodwill. So what is goodwill? The goodwill says, I am trusted. The goodwill says, I am loyal. The goodwill says, I am valuable. The goodwill says, I am truthful. The goodwill says, I am transparent. It has plenty. If you go into the term explanation of the term goodwill, it itself gives an ocean of our answers. I have not used the term of feel of bad will or worst will. So please be very cautious when you go for the effective communication. See, there is difference between communication and effective communication. Of course, you should be in the process of effective communication. You should not be in the process of normal communication. My dear beloved participants, always have these key considerations when you are in the communication process at any point of your day-to-day lifestyle activities. Next important key factor is, yeah, ma'am, you can go to the next slide. Next important subtopic, what I would like to highlight is the types of communication. So what are the types of communication? Of course, we have different types of communication. Around 10 different types of communication types are there. It is not possible to give all the explanations in this allotted time, but we will try to just go with the gist of what are the types of communications are available. Yes, ma'am, I will try to complete. So I will go for the gist of the types of communication. We have verbal communication. That is, this session is itself a very live example for the verbal communication, and then written communication. So written in the sense with the visual mode I have given the written format so that you can easily understand the key, take the key points, and you can be able to make some advancement with the key points what has been given. So this is written communication. The third important type of communication is most of the people are not aware of this, but this is very most important. That is listening. Some people are often we call them as chatterbox. They only speak, they don't allow to speak. But the beauty of a person lies, he or she should become first a good listener. If anyone has become a good listener, ultimately at one day or at one evening, they become a good speaker, they become a good known person in the society. They will not have this black mark called a chatterbox. There is a difference between speaker and a chatterbox. A chatterbox always speaks only from one end. As I've already told, a communication is a multi-way process. It is not a one-way process. But when we come to the concept of chatterbox, so those people, they only speak, they don't allow to speak. So try to avoid the going into the box of the chatter or talkative. Be as a listener. If you are having the patience of listening, ultimately you will be going for the learning aspect, you will be going for the enriching aspect, you will be going for the fulfillment aspect, you will be going for the development aspect, you will be going for the promotional aspect, you will be going for the wonders. The beauty lies in listening. See how much the grip has in the term called listening. So it is a continuous process. It is a continuous tense. Listening. It is not only listen. Listening. Always we should be having the that patience and the digestion to listen. So this meeting itself is a very good example that all the participants are giving a keen listening to the information what is being shared. And then we have visual communication, which may be diagrams, which may be images, which may be some sort of graphs, all those things. Then formal communication, which is always authentic. So a formal communication, it comes authentic, and it is through authorities, and it is with the signature. All these things counts. So we have informal communication in the family. There it is not necessary to have the date. There it is not necessary to have the sign, all those things, signature, all those things. But when it comes to formal, it should be having the date, it should be having the time, it should be having the proper the information. See this example, this meeting itself is an example for formal. So formally you have been given the purpose of this meeting, and who is the organizer, and who is the speaker, and what is the time of the meeting, and what medium is going to be implemented in the meeting, and what will be the language of the meeting. So this everything is formally pre prayerly informed, so that everyone comes at the exact time and taking benefit. So this is one of the examples for formal communication. Then we have informal, as I've already told just now, that when it comes to casual relationship within the relatives, so it might be informal. There lies no any kind of authorities or no any kind of signatures, all those things. Then we have vertical communication. It is in all the places. If we even if we take a family, we have vertical communication from the parents to the children, to the children to the grandchildren, all those things. Even if you go to the business aspect, we have a upward communication from the CEO to the managers to the different types of subordinates, like so on. Then we have downward communication. So mostly we think that only upward is better. No, sometimes downward communication is also better. So from the lower aspect also we can be able to have the good rapport. From the lower aspect also we can be able to have the good relationship. So this is one type of communication, that is the downward communication. And finally we have horizontal, that is at the equal level. We can call it at the we can call it at the same level among subordinates or among managers, like so on. And we have the diagonal communication, which is lateral. This is also one type of communication which can be applied in our day-to-day life activities. It is not that all the communication will apply. So sometimes some communication will come into existence. Sometimes some communication may not come into existence. It depends on the situation. It depends on the group. It depends on the dimension. It depends on the different types of people. It depends on different types of requirements. Whatever we feel, whatever we are supposed to engulf in that particular zone. So these are the different types of communication process. Next slide. Next, we'll go for the important key points before communication. Yeah. So as I already told, again, I am insisting here that listen, listen and listen. If we are in a position to listen more, automatically God gives us the reflection of speaking more, writing more, and reading more. That is what we in short call LSRW. So the top hierarchy comes L. The top hierarchy doesn't comes the other three. So listen or listening makes more valuable. Listen or listening makes more efficient. Listen or listening makes more confident. Listen or listening makes more the adherence to accept. So I have insisted 3 times. Listen, listen, listen. First degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. So if we have the patience, if we have the ability to listen more, ultimately we might be in the good books of any kind of people, any kind of group, any kind of gathering. Second important key factor before communication is it is subject matter. So what is the meaning of subject here? What is the objective? What is the purpose of that communication with that particular group in a particular time or in a particular atmosphere? That is the subject matter here. We cannot go and talk unnecessary, some informal type of talk in official meeting, or we cannot talk everything officially in a casual process of communication. So subject matter lies before communicating. We should think ourselves. We should talk ourselves, we should rehearse ourselves, we should make a note of ourselves. What is the purpose of I am going to communicate, I am going to converse, I am going to rapport, I am going to build, I am going to have, I am going to collaborate. All these things are very important before we start any communication process. The third important factor is respecting the genders. Of course, genders, we have both genders. We have in in a team or in a group or in a workplace, or even if you take a family, we have brothers and sisters. So we should respect the genders. It is not that when the genders are maximum, when the genders are more, we should be giving the less priority to other genders. No, even if you go in atmosphere where only one type of gender you can see, so you should respect their gender, and those people should also respect you. So everything is important here. So whether you are less in count or whether you are high in count, it doesn't matter. Emotionally and with the wholeheartedly and with the fluency and with the type of the your expression, all those things counts in respecting the genders. So this will give you an impact. So what is the importance of respecting genders? That will give an impact of yourself. That will be an impact of your loyalty. That will be an impact of your highness. That will be an impact of your the nobleness. So all these things comes when it comes to the respecting the genders. Next important is think before you express. See how this word is giving the more depth value. Think before you express. Words that are expressed one time may not be again recollected, may not be again retaken. So think before you express. Particularly, mostly, it happens when one team becomes anguish, when one team becomes more stubborn, when one team becomes more something what we can say, it is they are not agreeing. So this happens, the everything goes into futile, the meeting goes into failure, the relationship goes into astray. This happens in families. Think before you express. Even we can see crimes happen. Think before you express. So in communication, particularly in human beings, it is more important that what we are going to converse, what we are going to communicate, what we are going to express, we should think at least one time. I'm not saying you should think 100 times, at least one time, what I want to wish, what I want to convey, what I want to present. See, before coming to this meeting, I have had 3 times the rehearsal before coming to this meeting. So how I should convey, how I should have the fluency, how I should tackle my audience, all those things were giving my own questions. And now it becomes very easy for me think by thinking before and expressing now at this point of time. So think before you express. This is one of the key important factor when you go for the communication. And finally, practice well in advance. So practice makes a perfect man, whatever the work it is, whether it is an official work, whether it is a business work, whether it is a cooking work, whether it is a tailoring work, whether it is a presentation work. So practice will make very perfect in any activity in the human beings. So my dear beloved participants, I hope this particular subtopic, important key points before communication, would have given you the great understanding. If you understand, please try to give I. If you have understood, please try to give a text message I, capital I. Yeah, are you there? If you would have understood, please give a capital I. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I will try to wind up within the allotted time. So next important topic, subtopic, what I'm going to highlight here is, it is the, what are the major advantages or the benefits of communication? See, any work, what we do, we ultimately expect some growth. We ultimately expect some benefit. We ultimately expect some development. So here, in the process of communication, how we interact, how we present, how we are able to join with the other teams. So the first and foremost advantage is, it gives the faster trust with others. Others will have a good trust on us. Others will have a kind of satisfaction on us. Others will have a kind of special interest or special care for us. See how the communication is giving a very wonderful result. The second important factor is, resolves the problems or difficulties. So most of the problems can be resolved if we have a transparency in the communication, if we have the clear objective of the communication, if we have the clear fluency in the communication, if we have the proper the grammatical usage in the communication. Many of the conflicts, many of the unwanted thinkings, many of the unwanted mishaps can be eradicated, can be dissolved. That is what I used here, resolves the problems and the difficulties. Third important factor is, provide the future direction. There will be a path, new path creating without our knowledge, some new direction will be arising. It may be a monetizing, it might be a promotion, it might be a good relationship, it might be something without knowing to us, we might get some gifts. Everything is here. So when we have the communication in a very good way, we can see it provides the future direction. That direction may be without knowing to us or knowing to us. So this is one of the advantages of the communication. Next is creating the relationship in the long run. So I have said in the previous example. So when there is an anguish, when there is a misunderstanding, there comes things may go into futile. But here, the advantages of the communication lies creating good relationship in the longer run. What is longer run? It may be in the good books of in the hearts of the good books of the people. So getting into the hearts of the good books of the people is not a very easy task unless and until we are loyal, unless and until we are mature, unless and until we are supposed to be having some good sort of efficiency. So one of the advantages of communication lies creating the good relationship. Next thing is increasing the confidence level. So your confidence level is increased automatically in the subconscious mind. So your communication will have the essence to the greater extent. So this is one of the advantages. Next thing is your popularity reaches fast. So you might be liked with the people. You might be invited by the other people. You might be taken as a high preference people, high preference person in any of the occasions, in any of the functions, in any of the events, in any of the programs, provided your communication is excellent. Your communication is effective. Your communication is transparent. Your communication is very giving some good input. That is more important here. So popularity or the fame reaches very fast. Then leadership quality attainment, it comes automatically. Then handles the conflicts or crisis. See, second I have given resolves the conflict. Again, I have given handles. That is, you might be in a position to handle sometimes heavy disastrous situations, sometimes very uneasy situations. You might be having that work. You might be having that responsibility to handle, and you can do it. So this is one of the advantages of the communication. Then next one becomes becoming a good human being. See, this may not, we cannot expect in other creatures. We cannot expect in other animals. We cannot expect in other plants. We cannot expect in other different types of living creatures. But we can see becoming a good human being is one of the biggest advantages of the communication process. And last important key factor is excitement and emotion, understanding power. Where there is excitement, we should show that excitement appearance. Where there is the emotion, we should show that emotion appearance. So this both type of tendency should be there in a person while communicating. Sometimes situations are very fantasy. We can have the excitement. Sometimes situations may be something sorrow or grief or something unavoidable. So we have to show our emotions there. So this lies the advantages of the communication process. Yeah, next slide. Next, I would like to highlight on the non-verbal communication. So we are already aware of non-verbal. So I would slightly give the main key points. So gestures, postures, eye contact, head nodding, actions, audience-centered approach, and discipline through self-attitude. All these things are non-verbal. I would say non-verbal is also as equivalent as verbal communication. As verbal communication is important, the non-verbal communication is also so important that it will give the essence of your value. It will enhance the fragrance of your value, how you see, how you behave, how you are able to give your character, how you are able to attract. All these things comes into non-verbal communication. So everything is counted here. It is not that something is optional, something is mandatory. All things are supposed to be vital and essential in terms of communication. Next important subtopic what I would like to highlight here is it is the successful communication. So what is success in communication? When we wonder, so a communication becomes success when we are having the learn to listen. Understand? So we should learn from what we have listened. So this is an enriching quality that most of us fail. Please try to enhance. When you learn with the listening, ultimately you are in the next growth of your lifetime. Next one is pay attention to your body language. That's the previous what I have told, the non-verbal. Third importance is observation, how others communicate in different contexts. That also you should give the importance. The others may intervene, the others may have a doubt, the others may have clarification. Please try to give response. Please try to respect all those things for a successful communication. Next one is don't be panic or afraid or tensed. So some people may have plenty of treasury of ocean of knowledge, but sometimes they will get, if they get stuck, they will not be able to speak even one word. They will not be able to speak even one sentence. Don't be in such a kind of a drastic situation. Be always bold, be always enthusiastic, be always confident, be always realistic, so that your communication will become successful. Then next one is implement proverbs. So we can implement proverbs. Plenty of proverbs are there. You try to memorize at least few of the proverbs, so that proverbs will make the enhancement. Okay, next thing is ask questions to the other end. So at one pause of time, please try to ask even a single question will get the enlightened to that session. Next thing is accept the situation and the environment. So now this session is for 1.5 hours. So I should accept the environment. I should not prolong it. I should not make it very lengthy. So what the time is given, within the time frame, we have to accept it according to the environment, according to the situation. Like the same, you can also be able to implement in your different course of actions. Next one is don't dominate. See, this is not the beauty of a human being. Don't dominate. Be always consistent. Be always having a good rapport. Be always act like a family, so that your growth will grow automatically. Next thing is be aware of misunderstanding. So situations always fail because of misunderstanding. So be aware of that and try to make yourself a genuine person. And finally, prepare the content well in advance. This is one of the important key factors. Rehearse yourself. Even if it is a one paragraph, even if it is a one letter, even if it is a one type of request, please rehearse yourself. How should I ask? What should I ask? To whom should I ask? Or how should I command? To whom should I command? What should I command? So it comes either request process also, it comes either commanding process also. So if you apply, if you adapt all these key points successfully, your communication is more valuable. Next important topic which I would like to highlight is how to improve the communication. Now we can go to the next slide. So listen actively, then use appropriate body language, and then avoid slow pace and avoid being too emotional. Be aware of discretion, be consistent, get timely response, and be open to suggestions and requests. So this will have a great value to improve our communication. We should not always think that I am always the best. No, our graph may go high, our graph may come low, our graph may go something normal. So we should always have this thinking, how should I improve my communication in my to the next better level in my next approach, in my next meeting, like so on. Then audience centered, of course, these are some of the uh, geographical things, demographic analysis, try to understand the age of the other people, gender of the other people, culture and their ethnicity, the race, community, religion, and what is their education background, whether they are literate, whether they are illiterate, try to understand. Based on that, we can have our flow, we can able to convey the delivery in a very feasible way. Next is attitude analysis, which consists of audience attitude, then audience belief and audience value. This is also more important when we go to the audience concentration. The third important is focus on the audience. At any cost, our valuable customers or the audience when you go for the communication. And the last, I would like to put light on the how stress affect in our day-to-day life. So it is poor performance, poor outcome, depression, less time, feeling of insecurity, then getting burst or burnout and excessive work. All these things are supposed to be harming the not only the body but also the mind. The mind is more important in our communication. The mindset is supposed to be more very clear. If the mindset is clear, ultimately everything goes in a very good flow. If the mindset is not clear, if the mindset